Every time. Oh my God, the water?
You have the water? I should grab some. Okay, you ready?
All right. No.
Dang it.
Oh!
Yes.
Never again.
Never again.
Okay, here we go. I'll be honest.
Be honest.
Girl, you need to eat on your wedding day.
You have to eat on your wedding day. Period. From the beginning.
You're the one that actually wanted to bring up this topic because
Girls gotta eat.
girls got to eat.
I love to
Absolutely.
eat.
We talked a lot about some brides fainting the other day, and
And it happens all the time. Brides fainting, bridesmaids fainting, people fainting,
Yeah.
people not eating, people being dehydrated. It happens.
it goes on a lot.
It goes on
So,
a lot. Okay.
do we want to?
Start with some thread lightly.
Yes.
This is my favorite segment now. I just love it. Okay, this started a whole thing on Threads, and I feel like not just even wedding professionals were in on it. Like it stirred up a
Everybody
lot.
well, not even between the two wedding professionals, it very specifically was pointing to, but then like the periphery of it was coming in.
It was
So
key.
read.
You
I'm
guys
ready.
ready?
Yes.
Okay. My dear sweet vendor team, stop. Oh, this is all caps. Stop hanging around the entrance of the catering kitchen to grab past apps before they get to guests. Not caps anymore. These apps are not for you. The food count for cocktail hour did not include the vendor team. If you are a person who needs a snack every hour, please bring some of your faves with you to wedding days to keep you fueled. With love. There were 257 comments.
How many likes?
83 likes.
Okay, so she's getting
Yeah,
ratioed.
it was, yeah. It was shared 10 times and like shared 7. So the comment, to be fair, so this was a vendor that was a planner.
Okay.
And I'm sure that she sees a bunch of different stuff. So I don't even want to like attack the planner who posted
No.
this. I think that this is a good entrance to a discussion that's why we want to talk about it today.
And I would say because obviously I'm the only photographer at a wedding. So my immediate thought is, I don't do that.
That's not me.
That's not me.
I got so defensive. I was like, I've never done that. First of all, I don't stand in the catering kitchen.
Am I looking at them?
Yes.
Yes, they're delicious.
Am I looking and wondering like, okay, when is it going to settle down? And can I get a couple mozzarella balls at the end of it before we go on to the next thing?
But you just hit it at the end.
At the end. And if there are any extra, I'm not taking from guests.
No.
Like I do have an awareness of like these guests have been accounted for, and maybe I was not in that count. There have been definitely times like during cocktail hour that there's no more food left. And I'm not gonna, or if I see it's like scarce, I'm not going to like steal.
No, if there's only things. Now, if I see the same guy passing around like the mozzarella balls, Steve, whatever. And he's like, I'd love to name people I don't know if you've noticed. I love giving people names.
Sweet
but
Steve.
he's coming around, he's coming around. Yeah. I'm watching, and then he comes up to us.
Do you want any bruschetta?
Yes, I do.
Yes, I do.
Because I know which one you're talking about. It's delicious.
So good.
Yes, I do. So
okay, so what's your first? So your visceral reaction is, I don't do this.
I don't do this. I would say then the second thing is, well, of course they're waiting out there to get the photos of the food,
right?
Because I learned early on, like if the couple has spent money on it, you photograph it.
Yes.
Okay. Anything you can get that they've
anything, napkins,
right?
A frame of anything. Like I take a photo of physically.
I actually had a wedding where we didn't get like a bar sign. It got moved. We didn't quite get to it, and I was like,
we were driving home, and Aaron's like,
I didn't get the bar sign. I didn't get the bar sign. So that is one thing. And then also just it connects with catering.
Yeah. Because
then you want to send their gallery. They want to share your photos.
True.
You know, they have stuff they want to promote too. So that I think that just builds like a vendor relationship there.
Yeah. That's a good point, actually, that I think maybe couples don't know is that obviously we're there to photograph you, but there are so many vendors involved too that like they're using that as marketing material.
Yeah.
This is not just your wedding.
To share me. Maybe they'll put it on their website. Yeah. Maybe it's like the first time they've actually done something like this. And so, you know, having my photo is a way that they're sharing, like, this is the first time we've done like chicken and waffles or whatever, or this type of bruschetta or what, you know, the different kinds of options that they can show people is really great.
That's a good point. Okay.
That was my immediate thought. One, they're not doing it. Two, they're just photographing. And then three,
I've never done it.
Yeah. And then the third one would be, there's a whole then larger topic about whether you feed vendors or not, or if people are hungry. And then that's sort of where we've gotten into like this food discussion we're having today.
Yeah, because it's like food. Okay, food on a wedding day is multifaceted. It is, and this is what I want to talk about. It is not only feeding yourself, it's feeding your vendors, it's feeding your wedding party.
Yeah.
It is, everyone needs to eat. It is a long day. It's
long
not
day.
just a 5-hour day. Like someone is there from probably 6 in the morning until 10 p.m.
Right.
So
Someone
that is a range of
Yeah.
people need to eat within that time frame.
But I want to go back to the thread.
Okay, let's do it.
I want to see
Some of the comments.
Yeah, I want to see what other people were saying.
I don't know if
because
anyone else
there
does
were-
this, but I'm like,
There was a lot. It was a hot topic. And then what's funny is that you then see vendors chatting with other vendors throughout threads, and you're like, it came from this comment here.
Yes. Okay. So this was probably my favorite. It's the top comment on here. In 12 years, here we go. In 12 years, I've never seen a vendor line up at the kitchen like it's a damn Costco sample table. Also, if a planner or caterer tells me not to photograph the apps while I'm styling them, sorry, but I've touched it, I'm eating it. And yes, photographers get a pass. Why? Because we don't get breaks. We're glued to the couple like emotional support animals. Maybe find vendors who aren't hungry and unprofessional with love.
Ooh.
So
that was punchy.
That was
really punchy.
And then, the planner responded and was like, never in my post did I say I do not photograph or eat it. She's requesting that people do not wait by the kitchen door as it comes out and attempt to be sneaky and grab an app before it gets to the guests, which I actually completely agree with.
I agree with that.
And I will say, we are just one vendor, so we're not seeing every vendor at every wedding as like a planner, we have a different perspective. I've never seen that in our East Tennessee weddings, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it doesn't happen.
No, because I'm sure planners they see a lot of other vendors come in. But I will also say, like, if I'm photographing that, I'm not waiting at the door. Like, I can already think of where the catering door is to take photos now that I think about it. It's the ugliest place in the entire venue. I'm not gonna hover there to then do food. If anything, I want it being served in the moment. So I'm looking for the hands. I'm in there like bebopping, like I'm on my 7200, like zooming in on that thing. Like I want the emotion reaction of it. You're not going to print that photo.
No.
It's going to go in your album, but it's not like the highlight of it either.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm definitely not photographing people like opening their mouth and like.
No. If you see a photographer walking around while you're eating, don't you worry. They're not trying We're not trying to get an awkward photo of you. We feel just as awkward as you do. Okay, here's another one.
Okay.
So a photographer commented and said, babe, most events, the staff offers me appetizers, but I usually decline.
Yes.
Just maybe address directly with the team. You have an issue instead of social media. I completely understand that as well. Like blasting instead of addressing, because I'm curious how many times this was seen in real life to warrant a thread post versus a one-time circumstance that pissed someone off and then that warranted. I don't know. I don't know the originator, where the post came from, and I'm not here to assume that. All I can say is like, I saw this just like the rest of the internet and I have thoughts.
Well, yeah, like, and the funny thing is I was actually asking a couple I was shooting their engagement the other day, and she's on Threads. And I was like, do you see us vendors chatting with each other? She said, no.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
I was like, good, because we
can be feral.
Freaking crazy. Well, you saw like people immediately jump to the assumption that it was a diss on all photographers, that it was us doing something unprofessional. But I'm hoping that brides are seeing maybe other bride content and not us
just
vendors being little dicks to each other. I mean, because it can go feral on that, but it's good
that no one else it had 15,000 views.
Wow,
which is pretty good. This is the last one last comment. Someone said, what if I'm getting offered it by the catering team? And she responded and said, if offered as you are taking photos amongst the guests, by all means. If it's just standing at the entrance on the kitchen and picking it off the tray, right when it comes out, that's not what I'm okay with, or that's what I'm not okay with.
Never done that.
That I think is the perfect differentiation.
Yeah.
If you are among the cocktail hour and like there is a big lull or guests are like leaving to go into the reception and there's still a bunch of food, that is when and only when I will get a plate of food.
Yes.
Because I also think it looks, this is my hot take, I don't know if anyone else agrees with this, but like I think it looks a little unprofessional to walk into cocktail hour right at the beginning and just start eating. We
no
are
way.
hungry for sure,
Yeah.
but like that's weird.
But usually timeline wise, if we're talking timelines, we're, the guests are the ones who are being sent to cocktail hour. They are already doing their thing
Yes.
there for a minute while we take family photos. So I
Yes.
don't know then maybe what, how like a photographer is going over,
That's a good point, actually.
like I can think of maybe 5% of the weddings I have family photos before.
Yeah.
So it's very weird if I'm joining cocktail hour at the beginning of actual cocktail hour.
Same. It's only a couple minutes
it's-
into it.
Yeah.
At least.
And then usually for there, people have already mingled, they're away from the food, they're doing their own thing. And that's when like the couple is going to get bustled or whatever. I may swoop in for some charcuterie really quick as we scan and plan.
Yeah.
Scan
And
and
we're
plan.
also not just like sitting there at like a table, like
No, I'm like, if you want to see me get some food quickly, I am the boss at it. Like,
eat a charcuterie stick.
yeah,
quick,
going
have
over
a
there.
cracker and some artichoke dip.
Yeah. And then we do that. And then we, like I said, like scan and plan.
Scan
Like,
and
where are we
plan.
going to go?
Yep.
What are we going to do?
Yep. But we are truly not trying to like take. Anyway, just thought that was
No.
interesting. But this is what I want to lead into talking about how do we even handle food on a wedding day?
Like we, as in the vendors or brides?
We,
or
as
both,
in a bride or a groom planning a wedding.
Okay.
How do you handle even thinking about the overwhelming topic of food on your wedding day?
Okay.
Because if we go, you think we should start at the beginning of the day?
Well, so you had mentioned you went to a wedding the other day and you were planning like, hey, I'll see you tomorrow. But then immediately, well, what are we doing for breakfast? So maybe,
So
okay,
maybe let's start there.
Maybe start there.
Okay,
Exactly.
so I was in a wedding and I just, it's funny like being transported from a vendor to a bride, to a bridesmaid, and like being in these different roles and like the things that you don't think you're going to forget that you actually do forget, which gives me the empathy of people watching this.
Yeah.
You're not expected to remember all of these things because literally I also did not think about
I
this.
think it literally is the plan inside the plan inside the plan. And like people can do a bunch of things and then you realize that nobody's doing the one thing.
So we're sitting at the rehearsal dinner and a couple of the bridesmaids and I were like standing in a circle and someone mentioned, hey, what about breakfast tomorrow? Because I think the ceremony was like early afternoon. So we were getting ready at getting there at like 9 in the morning to get ready at the hotel. And so there was going to be a stretch, right? So breakfast and lunch had to be thought of before dinner at 5, 6 p.m. Right. Okay, so it's a huge chunk of time. So we're sitting there and I'm like, oh, I don't think we have a plan for breakfast. So on the spot, we're like ordering Panera and thinking about like what
Thank you,
can be-
Panera.
Yeah, truly bless it.
They're Chick-fil-A are lifesavers, okay?
Gosh, the trays and the Danish
Chicken
thank
minis.
you. So we're like, oh shoot, okay, yeah, let's get some food scheduled and thought of. We had not a single plan. We did not have any thought about what we were going to eat, coffee, nothing. The morning of. We just were going to show up and probably all starve.
That's true.
And so I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, we need to absolutely come up with a plan. So this sparks the thought. And then one of the groomsmen thankfully went and got steam sandwiches for lunch. And we were all like, before the ceremony, like scarf.
That's true because they're not like hair and makeup.
But they were starving too.
Yeah.
And so, and this is not the full responsibility on, I think it's just a piece that gets missed. I don't even know who to like cast the blame or to put the responsibility on, but I do think that this is something to think about at the very least. Like you will need food on your wedding day.
Yeah. And then okay. In most of the weddings, please eat.
Please eat, God.
Most of the weddings, I'm thinking that I get there, I would say, okay, 90% are probably I've got one specific venue in my head where everything's all there, right? Like we talked about in the last episode, you have either your one wedding venue, hair and makeup, wedding, ceremony, and reception all in one place, or you're shifting between two places, or you're shifting between three places. Definitely, of course, food has to go to really wherever you're getting ready. And then maybe, like a sandwich, like a part two. So we're eating in the morning. We're definitely drinking our water.
Water.
Love. I mean,
coffee.
Coffee. And then you got mimosas and like champagne and things of that sort that are flowing as well. And so as a vendor side of it, I come in, I see the trays, people are mingling, eating. And usually, honestly, before people are getting in their dress or like, hey, I need to go use the bathroom or whatever. Like, you need to go to the bathroom. You need to eat something. You need a good chug of water and just take a minute.
So starting with the day, you need water. You need food, breakfast, water.
Yep.
Breakfast, water.
Yep. Breakfast, water.
So much water.
Anything you say, I'm going to say water. Yeah.
And then like a recreational, like fun, like bubbly or like, if that's your vibe.
And then water.
Great. And then water. And then more water, especially in the summer. Guys, please drink water. It's so important. Okay. So we're starting off the day. Whose responsibility do you feel like that is?
Ooh, okay.
Who should be grabbing these things? Is that maid of honor?
Is
that bride?
Depends on where you're located and then where the closest. So you could have that be a planner task, potentially. Planners are probably like, we don't want that.
They're like, please don't say our names.
But I'm thinking like, just are you in a downtown area location that you can readily pick that up? Do you assign it to a bridesmaid who is coming later, will be hair and makeup later? Are you assigning it to maybe like a parent who's also getting their hair and makeup later?
True.
Or a planner who is like, I'm coming from the downtown area. On my way, I'm going to pick up this food. Yeah. And maybe you all beat them, like the wedding party beats them there and they're coming after, which is fine.
Yeah, I think it's basically
Did we just start a new service? Oh,
it's like Uber Eats.
Uber Eats for weddings. Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. Anyway.
Bridal Eats.
Oh. Bridal Bits.
Right. All right, Uber. This is your chance.
This is your chance. Oh,
but no, that's
put us in a commercial, okay?
But that's so true though, because I don't know. So say planner outside. I think to define it, it needs to be a person who doesn't have to sit in a hair and makeup chair immediately.
Right.
Who is able, like, I think I see siblings a lot. People that are like a part of it, or if they're coming anyway, that don't have as much like immediate responsibility. I think someone that you can trust.
I was gonna say, who has a reliable car?
Yeah, reliable car. Yeah, if you're traveling, if you have a destination wedding, someone who has transportation.
That's true.
I didn't even think about that.
Because you're staying. I'm thinking of us in the mountains here.
Yeah.
You're staying probably close. So somebody has to go downtown or someplace to then pick it up, or we're doing a grocery store run, maybe rehearsal dinner. We're picking up the Publix sandwiches and stuff like that,
everything that
they're bringing them over with them.
So you have to have a contact person for this, though.
Yeah,
like think about the fact that like you have to have food in the morning. Steps have to have food, have to have water, have to have maybe something fun to drink. Then you have to find someone who will actually man it, whether it's picking it up or ordering it. I feel like that should just not be the couple's main responsibility to execute on the day of.
Well, that's, here's the thing also. How nice would it be? Like, you get to just show up, like, you've done all this planning. I'm thinking of you.
Yeah.
Like, right, you've done all this planning. Everybody's there. And just the idea of having to walk in and there's like a spread and it's like,
and I can eat
and you can eat and sit.
And I have to wonder where it is and like who's picking it up. I don't want to worry. Now for me, because I'm a control freak, I'm giving all this advice and I'm like, but I'm going to do it all myself.
Actually, other people should do it, but on my wedding day, I'm going to be the one.
No, but I mean, I've already thought about morning of breakfast. I've already thought about lunch. I will not be picking it up though. I will probably place the order or like have it pre-planned, but the actual execution of like going and getting it and setting it up, that will not be me.
No, but I think that's
very
one of those
clearly
things,
that will not
like,
be me.
yeah, that's all. I think that's all you want. Like, just imagine coming in, like when you come to a home and your house is clean. It's like, you can focus on being the bride, and
you should just have to wake up and like go and get your hair and makeup done, take a shower, do whatever you want, and then have food there.
But I think that also, when we talked about wedding parties in the back, like the tasks that wedding parties can do and how they can alleviate stress and what they can really bring to the table is literally the table.
Yeah.
Stuff on the table.
And I know for me, I hate asking for help. I really, really, really hate it.
It's almost like we're the same person.
I really hate asking for help. And so my initial like, well, this is my wedding, so I need to just figure it out. I don't want to put this responsibility on someone else. No.
I would be so mad if you ended up doing that.
My wedding party is there to help me.
Yes.
Like if you asked me to help you, I would be like, yeah, of course.
But I mean,
So why do I
that's the
assume,
thing,
you
like
know?
internally, if you think like, why would I even ask my wedding party this? I feel bad asking
Why?
them. What are they there
What
for?
are they there for? Like, just ask
Right? Are
them.
we the drunk squirrels or are we the modest mouse? Like we talked about, a couple of episodes ago.
Or are we the food foragers?
Eat some food. Okay, so we've
Okay.
talked about
So-
morning. So what's the next food point then?
Okay, so I would say morning and then part 2, lunch or
Yes.
some kind of snack. I think that there needs to be like a breakfast situation. And what we see is you have a tray of Chick-fil-A minis, and then everyone gets their hair and makeup done. You're ready to get dressed. You're ready to go. And
Right,
that,
you're gone.
that tray sometimes just still sits there.
Yes.
And then you're not going to want to eat that also for lunch because it's still sitting out. It
Yeah,
doesn't
you
normally
have
get
that
refrigerated.
morning. You're probably
Don't
not.
mind.
I mean,
So-
you can.
You can, but I
The
like to
photographer
think,
will also eat that chicken mini when
I
they
will.
go fix your veil.
and people offer to me all the time.
They
Earlier
do.
in my career, I would not ever eat any food in a bridal suite because I just felt like it was so unprofessional. And now that I have better, not that I didn't have good rapport with my brides then, but I feel like the longer I'm in this career, the better
Yes.
my relationships are, just with experience maybe. And my brides and grooms are so chill, and they're like, please eat. We would be
Or it's
offended
like
if you don't
mom.
eat. Or
Mom.
moms, there's like, please eat.
Like, okay, mom.
Yes, I will.
Thanks.
So,
Yeah.
okay, so we've eaten in the morning. We have maybe like a little lull before the ceremony. I feel like that's like normally when I would eat,
Yes.
or take a little
Why is there a
snack.
lull before the ceremony?
I feel like there's normally this lull of we have all of our pre-ceremony photos done,
Mhm.
and then we want to cut it off so that when your guests arrive, we're not standing outside taking photos.
Right.
So
And
there's normally like a 30 to 60-minute gap.
yeah, you definitely want to go
Freshen up.
freshen up, maybe take your shoes off. Yeah,
Drink
you're
some
going to want to
water.
put makeup on. And then sometimes we also put the veil in around that time. But then a lot of vendors are coming up asking you questions, like your officiant's coming in, making sure like the ceremony's good.
People get
DJ.
mic'd.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
They need
Video.
to- I think
needs-
that would be the time to eat, right?
Yes. Plus there's stuff happening.
Yeah.
But there's no photo wise. Like people can come up to you as you're eating your food and water.
Yes.
Drinking
Drinking water.
freaking water. Yeah, would be the next step. So do you have so now like wedding party is there,
Mhm,
family is there.
mhm.
Do you think additional food should be delivered? Do you have something different that's already there that gets brought out?
I think
What-
it's something that is already there that gets brought out. So like say
Yes.
you have like mini sub sandwiches or something.
Jimmy John's.
Jimmy John's. And this
They're
is
lightning
both,
fast.
this is they're speedy quick.
another commercial.
Please, I love Jimmy John's. Let's just throw out brains after brains after
Uber
brains.
Eats and yeah, Jimmy John's.
So you know,
Yeah, that's good.
this is part of your prep. This is part of your like starting in the morning prep. I don't
Yes.
think that these are things that people are going out and getting at 11 a.m. for a 12 p.m. lunch.
No.
I think this needs to be thought through before the wedding.
True.
day
And I would
starts.
say usually this is not, since we're about to move into the next stage, your catering company is usually not in
Mhm.
this mix either.
Good point.
Right?
Yes, good point. Yep. This
I-
is individual. This is just you,
Yeah.
right? So say, let's use Jimmy John's as an example. So you get all these little sandwiches on a tray that can go in a fridge. There's normally plenty of fridges at a venue. Ask your planner, ask your on-site coordinator, someone that can point you to, this is very normal. So I don't think this is out of the norm to be like, I have a sub tray. What do I do?
What do
with
I do?
it?
They're like, we have no place for
Right.
that.
I'm like, that really, I
No.
don't think is going to happen. So bringing it, again, having a point person, maybe it can be a different point person or the same
it's
point
probably
person.
like, so it's not immediate family.
No,
It's not your wedding party.
no.
It's probably maybe like a close
Friend?
friend.
Mhm.
Aunt,
Someone who's going to be there
uncle.
all day, but is not as obliged to all of the activities from the
Right.
start of the day to the end of the day. Someone
Correct.
who has a little bit more freedom. A gopher. A gopher.
You're
perhaps. You know, like they're just
Yeah.
going and grabbing things for you. A
Yes.
gopher.
That is nice.
So a food gopher. That's what you need.
I like a food gopher.
Yeah.
That's the name of our company.
Yeah.
Duh.
Food gopher. Actually, though, yeah, bridal food.
But I
gopher.
think here's the
yeah.
thing though, like I feel like people very rarely eat during that very half hour time. I would
Mhm.
say you absolutely do. I know because nerves really do, maybe you're a little nervous and you don't like, again, water.
Mhm.
That's our timeline counter to add. Vibe was the other one.
Truly.
Water's this one. But people, it's hot.
Yeah.
I can think of very specifically pre-COVID. So this is like 2018,
Mhm.
19. We had a very hot June, and bride passed out, bride passed out, bride passed out, like in a row. There were 3 weddings in a row. I'm like, I'm cursed. And it was all, it all revolved around the heat and the food and standing on our feet and stuff like
And
that.
you're wearing like layers upon layers upon layers. It's
hot.
hot. You're sweating.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you're like going from outside to inside in the air conditioner and back. I think that also messes with you a little bit.
And then you got, that's, you know, we're talking a lot about the bridal suite, I feel like, but also groomsmen, you're in your suits.
Yeah.
It's warm, you know, like, and you've probably had a couple beers, but I just, that food situation, if you're going through and you're like walking by somewhere and there's an extra chicken mini, grab it. If there's an extra little cracker, grab it.
If you
like,
see a protein bar, eat it.
Eat it.
I will say too, because you mentioned the nerves thing, I think that as someone planning a wedding, you yourself, as a bride, as a groom, may be so nervous that you're not able to eat. I guarantee your wedding party, though, is not as nervous as you are. And they may not have the same like suppressed hunger cues. Like, I think sometimes like I think about, how am I going to feel? Am I going to want lunch? Am I going to want to eat? That's great and that is important, but also the other people that are alongside of you at your wedding,
they're hangry.
They're hangry.
That's true. I was like, where are you going? I'm like, oh, I get it now.
They're hungry.
They are hungry.
And so it's like, I think sometimes we put it, and this is not to call anyone out because I think easily I could do this too. Oh, I'm not going to eat breakfast. I'm not a big breakfast person.
Well, today you are.
Today you are.
Today
And
you
also your bestie may be a huge breakfast person and she got here at 6 a.m. to be in the makeup chair.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
She didn't get her normal breakfast. So thinking through those things about like, this may work for you as the bride, but it may not work for all of your people.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
No, it absolutely does.
I think that like thinking through, even if not everyone eats it, but like your parents, your siblings, like there are other people there that may need to eat.
And then let's talk about kiddos.
Yeah.
Real quick on that. If you have flower girls or ring bearers that are little, I mean, obviously their parents, you know, it's a lot to be a parent on a wedding day with a flower girl. My daughter was for my brother. And, you know, there's a lot of logistics there and keeping her happy and that sort of stuff. So, you know, prepare. I mean, I wouldn't say, I mean, they're your guests. They're the people in your wedding party. So not that this is one of those situations where couples should do what they want to do. Yeah. But again, your guests are there for a reason in your wedding party. So take care of them. They'll take care of you. Everybody just needs to be adulting, respectful humans in that.
And things will go so much better and there will be so much less amped up things if you're not hangry. Okay, we're going to take a quick break to talk about our sponsor. This episode is sponsored by Chop Chop Beauty Club.
My name is Samantha, and I'm the owner and creative director of Chop Chop Beauty Club. We are a luxury on-site hair and makeup team, and we make sure that not only is your wedding day service exactly what you're looking for, but we work really hard on the back end to make sure that the whole booking and scheduling process is seamless. I like to say that we are a set it and forget it type of company. You have so many things that you are dealing with when you're planning a wedding. You're booking photographers, you're booking catering, things like that. We don't want to be one more thing on your to-do list. So we have all of our communication perfectly timed out, so you never have to reach out to us. We will always reach out to you for whatever milestone is around the corner. Our genderless and all-inclusive service menu ensures that you will get exactly the service that is for you. Whether that is a more skincare forward makeup service, if you don't really like to wear a lot of makeup, or if you need to rent hair extensions, our Dream Hair Club is for you. So we have all the tips and tricks to make your wedding or special event perfect.
So thank you, Sam, for providing incredible services for brides and grooms everywhere. We absolutely adore you. So thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so
we've
we've
done
done part 2 of our morning eat lunch.
Yeah, there's definitely that line.
And I think at minimum, have protein bars, have nuts, trail mix, like have little snackies that you can just grab and go. And a lot of venues have them.
So then now we're at that time where the wedding party is down. So let's pick up the vendor side of stuff, because we did start a little bit vendory here when we do that break, right? So I'm just going to pick a ceremony time at 4. Really by 3:30, I want to be done with photos. Like guests are arriving, your officiant's coming, talking to you, bar is setting up. There's a lot that is going on. And honestly, it gets a little chaotic trying to find some photography locations. You know, it's really hard to direct your attention to being like happy in photos. Like you got stuff to do, go do it. We're going to go do photos. And then I have my little PB&J sandwich. I've got my chips. I have my Power Crunch bars that you introduced me to. They're delicious.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I'm going to eat. I'm going to talk with the DJ. I'm going to talk with the planner. I'm going to like make sure ceremony's good to go and like regroup, right? We're going to plan and scan
Drink
again,
water.
right? And we're going to drink water.
We drink so much water. But truly, it's like, I can like picture us, we sit there, silently eat our granola bar real quick, and then we go and plan it.
Like, what have we got? What do we need to do?
How are we going to do the ceremony?
Yes. So then when, you know, like we're moving to ceremony appetizer. So when that whole thread lightly thing came up where don't be standing at the beginning, there are days where I have powered through everything I have brought.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, why am I so hungry?
Because we're running.
It's immediate. I've had
double
my full banana, my full sandwich, all my chips are gone. I've drank my like full water thing and I'm like, what is happening? I'm starving.
Yeah.
You know, we're going to be leaving the ceremony and maybe here's a good plan. As soon as I said that, like once you're done with family photos, now I'm switching back to the bride and groom. Once you're done with family photos and you want to do that soft entrance in the cocktail hour, let's just say the timeline, that's where we're going. We're not going to go do more photos. You're going into cocktail hour. I hope someone has a plate.
Yes.
For you.
Oh, okay.
You know, because I don't know why I feel so weird about going, like seeing my couple enter in. I don't know. I feel like you should just be going down the line. People are handing you drinks.
Yeah.
They're handing you food. Like you shouldn't have to be going to the bar yourself and asking for it or going through the charcuterie line and picking it out yourself. I don't know. Because at that point, I just want someone to hand me a drink.
I want to just show
hand
up.
me a food and I want to go talk to people. So the idea of then maybe adding that sort of vibe on my plate as I see couples do that, I'm like, where's your drink?
Okay, so if I am a bride and I want that experience, how do I guarantee that I get that?
Well, usually, hopefully, like when we're doing family photos, if my brain is on, I'm going to be like, hey, you're done. Really good best friend with family photos. Hey, I don't see they have a drink yet. Or the planner is coming up and like, how far along are we?
Yeah.
We're going to be in 5 minutes. Hey, I think it's great for them like to get a drink. And then to see the planner come over with like a drink and a small little plate of food is amazing. And then they can even eat
and the
right
couple
there.
Feels so refreshed. You can just see it. They're just like, oh. And then we take a second.
Yeah.
They get refreshed. They drink a little water.
They drink more water.
They eat some food. And then we go do our pictures or portraits.
Yeah.
Or we're done.
Yeah. Or we're done. Or so now they're going in, right? Cocktail hour has started. There's another break for us where we're kind of regrouping.
Yep.
Like, okay.
We're not swarming the catering kitchen.
We're not swarming the catering kitchen. If I see some pickles over there, I'm like,
I'm watching you.
I'm getting some pickles.
No.
Okay. Yeah. 100%. But then, you know, we're kind of mingling with guests. Like people are asking for photos, you know, and a lot of the venues that we're at have these great mountain views. So we're going over and we're like mingling with your people. We're hanging out. We're getting the photos. So that's like third part, cocktail hour, getting some drinks. And now anything else you want to say on that before we shift to like full dinner?
I don't think so. I would say
enjoy it.
Enjoy
if you
it.
Have time for cocktail hour, go.
I have couples that are like, we really want to do cocktail hour. Is that okay? And I'm like,
you just spend how much money on this? Yes, please.
Like we can, unless it is absolutely, I need 20 minutes with you and then
like
I will
the sun
verbalize
is
you.
setting, like we're going to be done.
I'll tell you. I'll explain that to you. I'm not going to just be like, no, you can't do
but
cocktail hour.
Also like a good part about that is at the end of cocktail hour and people are going into the next section with catering, there is a few moments that we can then take you over to like one specific area while people are finding their seats, like people are getting the last drinks. Give me 5 minutes. I'll give you 50 photos.
I'm not going to
no, we're going to
the whole hour.
No.
Okay. So then I think cocktail hour ends. We transition into dinner.
Yes.
Multiple options for dinner. There's like buffet, there's plated. There are also dinners that start immediately as soon as you walk into the reception. And then there's that is the next move is you sit, you find your seat, and then, you know, there's like a welcome or something and you go. Or someone's going in and like they're doing their first dance and they're, you know, couple things and then it's released for dinner. But normally it's on the front end of the reception. For us, I would say let's list the vendors that normally eat here. We have us as photographers. Video.
Let's say eat on the front end.
On the front end.
Okay.
like we are the ones that have been like there all day and normally are going through and trying to like eat with the couple, staying with the couple's timeline. So when the couple is eating,
Yeah.
we're trying to eat.
Well, why?
Because it's really the only time in the middle of the reception that like we don't have to have a camera shooting. Because
Yeah.
as soon as they're done eating, and sometimes the tail end of them eating,
Yeah.
there's like speeches or something is happening that we can't sit and eat anymore.
Right.
So this is something that I think gets missed, especially when there's an event during dinner. That
Yes.
means that we have maybe 5
Where we
minutes
are-
without an event,
Mhm.
10 minutes without an
Mhm.
event, and that is the only time that we're able to eat.
I'm going to tell you the one thing I actually posted on Threads the other day, and I said, I would rather walk through hot coals with bare feet than ask a catering staff or planner to get me a plate and silverware
Yes,
in the
hands down.
middle of dinner service.
It's so horrible
It
because
would
they're so
be-
busy.
It would be as if somebody came up during the ceremony and said, can you take my picture?
Yes,
Like, do you not see
I'm right in the middle of
I'm
something,
doing something? Like,
and it's
there's-
important.
there is nothing I want to say. Okay, so if I've gotten to that point, though,
Okay.
if I've gotten to the point where I'm asking for that,
Mhm.
because I know we are, as soon as that last plate of like guest person goes through that line,
Mhm.
we're starting a toast.
Yep.
And so this is it.
Yep.
Like, this is the only time I'm going to eat. This is the only time that it's suitable that
Mhm.
I'm not missing my job.
Yeah.
And I hate the fact that I'm like, I'm interrupting your job to make sure I can do my job later.
Yep.
But when I tell you if I am asking for it, it is the
hate
last
it.
resort.
I hate.
I
and
would
I'm
rather
looking
eat
everywhere.
out of my hand.
I am looking everywhere to see if I've missed it.
I will
If
go to
I'm
the
like,
cake table and just get a fork and walk around with chicken on the fork, okay? Versus going and doing this.
no, truly, because I can feel their busyness and like I know like this is truly the most stressful
Deer in
parts. Like
headlights.
they're trying to get it all
Yes.
ready and done.
Yes.
So okay, so universally though, say that we don't have an event during dinner, just like as a standard,
Yes.
we are still going and eating the same time that the
We are.
couple is eating. What that means for a buffet is my protocol, and I feel like you are like this too. I want bridal party and immediate family to be able to go through the line first. I am not going to be the
Oh
first
yeah, if
person
there's a
going through the
lull,
line.
unless the planner comes up and she's like, "Hey, they're
Yes.
taking a minute,"
Yes, here's plates. Let's go.
you will not even see me. I will be gone so
Yep.
fast out of that line.
Yep.
But if a planner is saying, "Hey, they're going to take it," got it.
Yep,
I want to get out of your way. I'm good, but I
Yep.
want that lull.
same.
Like,
I'm not going to try to like cut your dad. Like
oh
that's
my
weird.
God,
Like
no.
that's
But
so
you know, sometimes like we're like walking slowly behind people, and the dad is like,
go ahead.
I'm like, you are the father of the groom. What are you talking about?
like you're so kind, sir, but you go
Thank
ahead.
you. But please get
Yeah.
your food.
And then plated dinners.
Oh,
Normally,
stressy.
normally there is a vendor boxed option, like a vendor meal,
That's one.
or it is just like it has been pre-plated and set aside.
Right. And then they just walk over and like,
Yeah.
hey, it's in there.
Yep, it's
and
in the
you go back.
kitchen or whatever. So
And usually those ones, there's a bad and a good with that as a vendor, because bad, you're like, you don't want to ask, you
Yeah.
know it's somewhere, because the couple has already emailed you asking about it. So you
Yes.
know you have a chicken meal
yes,
somewhere, you know it's chicken, and
we don't know where.
you're just gonna go and find it
Yeah.
somewhere.
Yeah.
So
I think that for planning purposes, I want to pause here and say it is important to, one, make sure that your vendors that you are feeding are in your count,
yes.
especially for a plated dinner. Because what happens then, and what I've seen, is that all of the other plates start getting made for guests and bridal party and
Mhm,
everyone,
mhm.
and we get forgotten, which is
Mhm.
completely understandable. I'm not like
Like,
Yeah.
what about us?
Yeah, pitching a fit
we're
about
not,
this.
no.
But I'm showing you a pain point that we see is like we get kind of swept up in that, and then we have to interrupt their flow and be
Yeah.
like, we also have to eat real quick.
But also,
You
you want
know?
to make sure your count is on. Like, if
Yeah.
you very specifically had a count for vendors and guests,
Yes.
and there's a plate that's not there missing,
Yeah.
first off, I don't want your guests to go out with food.
Yeah.
I will run down the street or whatever, which also makes me nervous. I don't want to get in like a car accident or something, like running to
Also
get
same.
food.
Yeah.
Like, that's terrifying.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to leave and have something happen and not come back. But also, like, working with your catering staff and working with planners, making sure that you have enough that if then something like a plate drops or
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
an issue, there's plenty to cover
buffer.
for there. There's buffer.
Yeah.
You know,
Because I've seen weddings run out of food. I've seen that.
Mine did.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's like, I don't want to be a contributing factor to
Correct.
there not being enough food.
Right. Exactly.
Can we talk about the difference between a hot vendor meal and a boxed vendor meal?
They're not the same.
I also want to, I want to preface that this is not us complaining or feeling ungrateful that we're
No.
being fed, but I
No.
want to educate why there is a difference between different types of meals and from our perspective, what that difference looks like.
Sure.
So for me, I am always grateful for a meal.
Oh, well, but we're grateful, but it's in our contract.
But it's in our contract.
Okay.
It is literally in my contract to feed me. And if you're not able to feed me, then I think I have a 30-minute, maybe
That's
even 40.
45.
Yeah, I was going to say even maybe 45, where then I get to stop my work
Right.
and go get food.
And we do that again when people are eating.
Yes.
Okay.
And that I've never had to do that. Have you had to do that?
I had it where they read my contract. They knew. They actually handed me money because we were downtown, and they're like,
Go get food.
"Go get food."
Interesting. Okay. Okay.
It was interesting. It
actually
still was
works,
a little
though.
nerve-wracking because I'm like,
What if something happens?
what if
and I'm
something
not
happens?
there?
What if the food that I did get is delayed? It all worked out. Actually, it was delightful. It was actually right downtown
Yeah.
here.
But like,
It was
that's
fine. But it also was like you read my contract and you realize what it was.
Yeah.
And you do your thing, I'll do my thing.
But if
and
you're up in the mountains and you're 45 minutes away from anything,
yeah, you're not bebopping down.
you're not going down the mountain, then I probably wouldn't. Yeah, that
No,
would make me
down
nervous.
to the
But I
parkway.
need to eat. You have to eat though. So for me, the difference between, because sometimes, okay, so like I've gone through a couple of like periods of life where I've had some dietary restrictions. I was
Mhm.
gluten-free for a little bit. I was dairy-free for a little bit. And so there were times that I would get like a boxed vendor meal and I couldn't have the bread or I
Mhm.
couldn't have the cheese or there were like dairy ingredients in the chips or whatever. And the actual meal is a meat and vegetables and a salad. And
Right.
my thought is, if I was to have that opportunity, I would have been able to eat a salad without the dressing, or I would have
Yeah.
been able to eat just the protein and have some like
Yeah.
good sustenance to continue my work.
Right.
Instead, I'm like eating just the sliced turkey.
Yeah, and then you're going back
And-
to your
Yeah.
your bag you packed
Now,
and you're
could
pulling out
I-
the rest of the stuff.
Could I say, hey, bride and groom, I have a dietary restriction? Absolutely. And sometimes I'm asked that, but sometimes I don't know what kind of meal I'm
Right.
getting until I show up. But most of the time,
And
I feel
usually-
like.
yeah. And that's the thing. It's like hit or miss. It can be plated to box meal to we're like there's very limited stuff or it's a taco bar or
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know like or barbecue. Like there's a gamut of things. I know I would love a barbecue sandwich right now. That you see and but that's like the next that's the next big thing. Everybody's eating, everybody's happy. I mean, I'm telling you there's nothing that makes my heart literally more full than eating a good plate of mac and
Yeah.
cheese, having a Diet Coke,
Diet
and like
Coke, a
talking with your
crispy
vendor
Diet
friends
Coke.
about how today's been going. We're ready to rock and roll the next, because we're there for
Yeah.
another 4 hours,
Yeah,
5
that's
hours.
really our like second wind moment.
Yes.
And so I think that that's like going back to the different types of food. Think about the end of a workday, because at this point, normally we've worked at least 5 to 6 hours.
Yeah, I mean, from leaving the house to getting there to loading to doing photos to the ceremony to the cocktail
At
hour to the family
least.
photos, we are there on an 8-hour day for sure, at least 4.
Yeah.
At a minimum.
Yeah.
And
So
4 hours of work.
running.
Right.
And so at that moment, there's kind of a switch that happens where you either are just like, you sit down and you're like, I am so tired and I need to really like gain the energy to keep going, and I will do that and it will be great. Or you're full and you're just like, I'm ready to go.
Yeah, let's
like,
go
I'm
create.
energized. Let's create. I'm
Yeah.
excited. And I have this like second wind.
Mhm.
It is a night and day difference. Like, I am a food person that gets me through.
I mean,
everything.
like, who doesn't love? I mean, seriously, like, sometimes when I'm asking catering, and I'm like, "Who'd you go with?"
Yeah.
Like, we won this, like, mashed potatoes.
You got the good rolls.
Got with the butter.
Delicious.
I mean, it's, when you guys are mingling with your friends, like the other side, as you should, and you should be eating. Okay,
Yeah.
like if you feel like you're not going to be able to eat, and I really hope guests stay away from you when you eat, like go have a moment to yourself too. If you want to go down into another part of it, have your own space as well, but like physically eat. And then And then you can go mingle and do the things. And hopefully people do leave you alone to have a meal.
Okay, so this is a problem point, is that I feel like I hear couples say, I didn't even get to eat any of my food, or I like ate a couple of bites, but no one left me alone. There are several ways to approach eating at your reception.
You know what
event.
my brain immediately went to? Was like, here's our next venture. Just get roped off. Like we're at the airport and then have a guy with like a walkie.
Like,
just being
not
like,
right now.
Nope.
5 more
Nope.
minutes. They're just like
And
quietly eating.
glasses. Yep. Nope. Leave them alone.
Maybe we do need like wedding bodyguards. Not
Yeah,
even
I
just
mean,
security,
seriously,
but
that'd be
bodyguards. For the
hilarious.
couple, they leave the ceremony and our bodyguard
Yeah.
after the
But
pictures.
okay. But then going back to the plated thing that I said with cocktail hour,
Yeah.
I've seen it happen one time and one time only that I can think of close to the 500 weddings I've shot. Is I've never seen a couple go through the buffet line, because we're specifically talking buffet.
Yep.
Like your planner really should be bringing you a full plate of everything that you want. Like when you sit down,
you should have a drink.
Yeah.
You should have every single thing that is offered in that, unless you don't want something.
Right.
Yes.
Like you
Yes.
you don't like salmon, but you have it as an option for whatever. But like that's
It's your
where,
plate.
and then eat, and then that's when people should be then going and hopefully then leaving you alone.
Yeah. But if you have a crowd that you're like, I know that we are not going to be left alone.
Aunt Martha.
Yeah, go eat somewhere else. Take like 10 minutes. That is okay. You're not disappointing your guests. You're doing nothing wrong. Go eat in a back room somewhere, or like downstairs in the getting ready suite, or wherever.
Just set up a nice little
Set
table
up
somewhere if you can.
and tell your planner that
Yeah.
you want to do that. And there's no shame in that.
Or have a planner, as the DJ is calling like stations, have her up there being the wrangler a little bit, just to have a moment. So food's going on. Maybe we're taking you out right after for photos after food, like when people are still mingling. And then we're sending you back in for another small food thing, which is cake, right? We're doing the cake.
Yummy.
Everybody gets the
Dessert
cake, cupcakes, desserts, whatever. And I feel like you really do have to tell people that it's over there. Sometimes people forget. They see the wedding cake cut, and then it's usually in the dark corner off on the side. I wish it was a little bit more.
Do you
Center.
think also, I think that this is another tip, is to clarify who it is that's cutting your cake. Is your catering company cutting your cake? Do they have a cake cutting fee? Is your planner cutting your cake? Clarify who
There's a
is
lot
cutting
there.
the cake.
Yeah. Because it's not the cake person.
It's not
They
the cake
gone.
person. They're out. They're
Yeah.
outie. So, and not just like who's cutting the cake, who's distributing, like is catering taking care of utensils with the cake? Are you guys using just the utensils that you already had for dinner, which normally it's like a separate dessert?
Yeah.
Fork, plates.
You will also need a plate and at least a knife and a fork to cut your cake too.
Yeah.
Sometimes we get over there. And
Like,
those little
yes.
things look really fancy and they're pretty.
Yeah. Like
They
the like long
They
knife.
suck at cutting cakes.
Yeah.
They're just like right on the tip with this like sword,
Uh-huh.
So that's funny.
Also, when you cut your cake, you cut the bottom layer, not the top layer. You cut the bottom layer and you cut a little
And you need,
sliver,
like, this
tiny piece.
this
You
much,
take
this
it,
much.
put it on the plate, feed your spouse.
Be
La la la
done.
la. Be done.
I mean, you could get more if you want to, but I think people are really nervous during
People
that
are
time
super
too.
nervous. I think because like they don't know what to do. No
Yeah.
one's told them what to do.
You just need to
It's
bite.
super easy. Just
That's
take
it.
a little bite.
And then they're gonna and then
Yeah.
people should be bringing you your cake.
Yeah.
Like
Also, this is a trend that I feel like is diminishing, but like the smashing of the cake. Don't do that.
no, I don't. I think that's
I
beyond.
think that's beyond. Like I've not seen that in a while.
No, I had one maybe last year, and they were both into it. I'm like,
Yes,
that's
that's the only way.
fine.
If one of you
Still,
is
I'm like,
into
oh,
it-
you spent all that money,
I know.
and we have couple photos coming up.
True.
Like you just literally
True.
wiped off half your makeup, and I'm gonna go take golden hour photos.
So think about that. If you want a cake smash, are you taking photos afterward? Do
Yeah.
you care if your makeup's going to be wrecked? Whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. So a trend that I feel like I'm seeing more and more of are like cute, fun late night snacks.
Yes,
I love a late night snack.
crystals,
I love Crystals, McDonald's,
Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A, Taco Bell. What else have I seen? Just French fries in general. Tater
Pretzels.
tots, pretzels.
But those are some good photo moments.
Oh, they're so fun.
Like bring that stuff on the dance floor.
Mhm.
Like I
Yes.
specifically remember a Christmas or like a December one, and they got crystals, and Santa came and handed
Stop.
out crystals. hilarious. But he was on the dance floor. I feel like
That's
if
amazing.
you have to bring it to the people,
Yeah.
if you're like, it's going to be over there.
Yeah. It needs to be like a part of the
They
celebration.
won't go and get it. I can specifically think of a photo where there was these cute pretzels all lined up with chip, and it has to be something I feel like really easy to eat. It has to be in a package.
Yes.
Maybe not so much the dipping stuff, but it has to be able to be held in one hand and a drink, and you can get low
Yep.
with it.
A little fry basket.
Yes. Something that's very easy to eat as well. And then you have to bring it to the people, otherwise they don't eat it. And it goes to waste, honestly.
Yeah.
It
It
can't.
needs to be amongst the party.
Yes.
It can't be separate and like
No.
tucked
And
away
then you
somewhere.
need an announcement. Even if you bring it to the dance floor, I feel like a DJ needs to announce it, or people need to then go and let people know they have it. Like serve it. If you're gonna do it, then serve it out to the masses.
the masses.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love a late night snack. Chicken nuggets from McDonald's. I think McDonald's has been my favorite one because I feel like everyone loves Mickey D's. And
Yes.
it's just like
I
you
feel
can
like
have a burger
the one
or
that got destroyed was Chick-fil-A because they're in the wrappers.
yeah,
Right. And they're kind of edible, like they're really easy to eat, and they were all just sandwiches. So people could take them. And people were ordering them for like breakfast
for
the next
sure.
morning. Are you
People
kidding
were
me?
grabbing
There
a
were
couple
extras.
of
I was
them.
like,
I'll take that.
on my way home.
my
Thank you. I have a cake and
I
Chick-fil-A.
can't think of any other ones that I've seen that I've really liked. I think that is
Pizza, like
pizza,
a pizza
yes.
buffet.
Yep. I've done
Yeah. Again,
pizza.
you have to. There was one I had, and it was in another room, so you had to go,
Yep.
and you had to go and do it. And there was a lot left over, so that would be it. Yeah,
Yeah.
fourth meal.
Fourth meal. And then I think that's
Those are a good
that's
base.
the food for the day that I can think of.
Yeah, throughout the way. So the end. What's the end? Eat. Drink.
Drink water,
Yeah,
drink alcohol. Go
that's
off,
fine.
Go
Oh my
off,
gosh,
drink all the
please.
things. Feed your vendors.
Yes.
Several wrapping up points. Feed your vendors. Feed yourself. Feed your people.
Mm-hmm.
Drink a lot of water.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Food brings people together.
Yeah.
It really
make it
does.
fun. Make the food fun. And like it also doesn't have to be, we're bride moment. We're doing like hot dogs and Caesar salad. We're doing a hot dog truck, but my favorite food in the entire world is Caesar salad. So we're like having Caesar salad as well. And I'm like, I don't care if that matches. I give no craps. I am going to eat hot dogs and Caesar salad.
You're like,
any
actually,
day."
we're having sushi and barbecue sandwiches.
like literally.
Totally different.
And then like a late night pizza or something.
I love it.
But like, I just want to have fun with food. So have fun with food. It doesn't have to be
Yeah.
super crazy. It can be you.
No.
If you want to have
Sounds
cotton
like
candy at your wedding,
great. Want to go get some lunch? Okay, let's do it. Hey, another one down.
Yeah.
Got it.